Something that you guys are not supposed to know about. I know you guys knew about it.
Yeah.
It's like, that joke that everyone knows that they're in on, but I'm still pretending like everyone doesn't know.
Right.
But, it was by design because we didn't want the audience, at least part of the audience, to know. Because ultimately the trailer came out. Aatish is this surprise element, comes out
Yeah.
from the shadows
Yeah.
in the end. Yeah, I've never auditioned for a film.
You never auditioned.
No. But Manish was the first time he met me in YRF and he said that, okay, we're considering you for the antagonist in Tiger. And then he was looking at me like, I think for a moment he felt that, okay, it's the face is a little softish for being an antagonist. So then Manish is very tentatively, very being courteous. He just said, Imran, if you don't mind, can we do like a couple of tests? I was like, yeah, Manish, whatever you want. I mean, it's such a huge film for you. Also, it's your first directorial in this franchise.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do to kind of make it get things clear. By the time I reached the set, I had done multiple auditions because Manish and me to get clear about the character, because this is the first time Aatish makes his entry in this Tiger franchise and people know Tiger and Zoya. So this is new guy Aatish.
Yeah.
I self-tape myself for every scene and send it to him. For every scene, multiple variations.
Hello and welcome to News 18 Showsha. Today we have with us Emraan Hashmi, who's just come out of success of Tiger 3. Congratulations, Imran.
Thank you so much.
I just want to take you back to a conversation during the book. And, I'd asked you about Tiger 3. And the
And I
one
said I'm
thing...
not doing it.
No, you just said that you'd gone to shop
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Turkey
In
and also in
Istanbul,
Austria.
Yeah.
But just on a lighter note, while shopping, you got Tiger 3, but you would have been the most fortunate
Yeah,
actor.
I kind of just waltzed on the set while shopping, and I gave a couple of shots for Aatish, and I got out.
Yeah.
That was my vacation in Istanbul
Yeah.
and Vienna.
Right.
Something that you guys are not supposed to know about. I know you guys knew about it.
Yeah.
It's like, that joke that everyone knows that they're in on, but I'm still pretending like everyone doesn't know.
Right.
But, it was by design because we didn't want the audience, at least part of the audience, to know. Because ultimately the trailer came out. Aatish is this surprise element, comes out from the shadows
Yeah.
in the end
Yeah.
with a voiceover. So that's why we didn't want to ruin the fun and the mystery.
But was it difficult to kind of keep that kind of a secret? Because, this is one of your biggest projects of your career. And, any actor would just go out, scream there and say that,
Yeah, it's quite commendable the way YRF has made at least that, keeping it so secretive until the last day of the shoot. No, even me walking on the set hadn't come out. Even when I was traveling or in Vienna or whatever, things didn't come out. So I think it was just quite guarded, the whole thing. And I couldn't by default talk about it because I was told by Aatish Chopra not to say anything. It's like this. It comes out when I say it comes out. Just please lie low.
Yeah.
We will bring in Aatish at the right and the apt time.
Yeah.
If someone tells you, asks you, just I say okay. You have my word. I won't say it to anyone. So yeah.
Yeah. The film has released, and the kind of success in terms of the critical success and the commercial success that it has been receiving. Do you feel there's a sense of validation also? Because whatever said and done, your roles have always been appreciated, irrespective of how the film has performed.
Ji.
Do you feel post a selfie or a chair or the book?
Yeah.
Is this was something that was really required?
Yeah, there's only as far as you can go with praise. Praise is great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's great when people praise your film, praise your performance. But then there's the other side of the validation, which is the numbers. People have to throng to the cinema hall to kind of see your film, and more the merrier, and that becomes more of a validation. These days, people for some reason see box office numbers and go and watch the film. Yes, there are critic reviews, but then people also see box office numbers. That becomes like, okay, there's so many people watching it, let's go watch it.
Personally, how do you look at it then? Has it paid off for you also? Would you say that?
Yeah, people have just, loved the character of Aatish. They have loved my place in the film, of how he's scheming and the things that he's doing and being a formidable kind of opponent to Tiger. Um, People have loved it, and people unexpected. For people who didn't know I was part of it, getting their review of the film is so heartening to know. Fans and people, friends, family, they like the graph of the character played out and the impact he makes in the scheme of things in the Tiger narrative. So it's quite interesting.
We were shown the trailer at YRF
Oh
theater
yeah, yeah,
itself, and after that we had an informal conversation with Manish Sharma, the director,
yeah,
and he said that Imran was a choice for us, but it was not that he had gone through a
yeah.
lot of look tests and a lot of.
Yes, yes.
Is it after a long time that you had auditioned for a film? Would you say so?
Yeah, I've never auditioned for a film.
You never
No,
auditioned.
but Manish was the first time he met me in YRF, and he said that, okay, we're considering you for the antagonist in Tiger, and then he was looking at me like, I think for a moment he felt that, okay, it's the face is a little softish for being an antagonist. So then Manish is very tentatively, very being courteous. He just said, Imran, if you don't mind, can we do like a couple of tests? I was like, yeah, Manish, whatever you want. I mean, it's such a huge film for you also. It's your first directorial in this franchise.
Yeah,
Do whatever you want to do to kind of make it, get things clear.
sure.
Um, but then in the end, it didn't end up happening because it just we met twice. He narrated the script to me, and then after that, he was going to give me something to do for the camera or a look test. But before that, only he was like, okay, we are vibing on a level. You see the character exactly how I see it,
Right.
and there was a certain time constraint. So he said, okay, forget about that. Let's just go with this. Then he took me into Aditya Chopra's cabin. We met, and then yeah, I was on for the film. But I had done, by the time I reached the set, I had done multiple auditions because Manish and me, to get clear about the character, because this is the first time Aatish makes his entry in this Tiger franchise, and people know Tiger and Zoya. So this is new guy Aatish.
Yeah.
I self-tape myself for every scene and send it to him. For every scene, multiple variations. So he could be clear, okay, this is the path we should take for this scene. So it was like almost performing at home a couple of times to the camera and sending it to him on the iPhone.
Right.
So that was a different process for me. I never done that before.
Was that like that's what I was going to ask? I'm assuming this is the first time that you must have done like
Yeah, yeah.
self-taped yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And how much did it help back on the sets then?
Oh, a lot. We got clear about what the line would be, right? What the pitch would be. Otherwise, you're discovering stuff on the set. And also on a film set, you have only so many number of hours
Sure.
to work.
Yeah. So, what I want to know is when Manish offered you this role,
Great.
was there ever a skepticism in your mind because you played grey shades in the past and you've done it wonderfully well and has been appreciated. But this was out and out, a black character. Uh, did you have any inhibitions?
Uh, you know, I wouldn't have done it if the backstory wasn't there. I would have probably bailed on it because he might be a complete black character when you see him in the present.
Yeah.
But in the light of the past, there is a gray zone there because you see him as a person on the other side of the border doing things that he feels serve his ideology. Now, sitting here, we can fault that, but it's a perspective, it's subjective.
Sure.
And you see the incident that takes place in his life,
Yeah.
what he loses, and what drives him to on this mission of revenge. So therein lies the intent and the reason. If that reason wasn't there, I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
So I like to have a certain core motivation for the character. That's becomes a very unidimensional villain.
Sure.
So he's more an anti-hero than a villain. The reason why I say that is because villain is sometimes becomes very unidimensional, bad for the sake of being bad,
Yeah.
with no intention, a psychopath. He's not a psychopath. He doesn't start that way.
Yeah.
He might end on that note in the present. He becomes this demonic character, but he becomes that because of he's a product of his environment, of things that have happened to him.
You were always aware that this is going to be a Salman Khan vehicle, right? I mean, was there any kind of discussion within yourself, with subconsciously, consciously? Did you ever discuss? Because Tiger is a Salman
Uh,
vehicle.
I guess there was an initial when that one line was given to me that you're going to be playing the antagonist in Tiger. There's a question that, okay, will he register?
Hmm.
But then you're like, when I heard the script, I was like, Aatish has a very, very prominent and impactful place in this film, in the scheme of events.
Right.
What he does leads Tiger on this road, right? It's
Yeah.
his origin story that starts off things in motion. So I think that's what kind of led me to do it.
Right. And what was the environment on the sets? Because with Salman, shooting those intense scenes.
Yeah.
And what I liked about this film was the fact that it's not heavy on action between when Salman and Aatish also,
Yeah.
like Tiger and Aatish also confront.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not always that they are throwing punches
Yes.
towards each other.
Yeah.
It's
Thankfully.
yeah,
Yeah, people would say that it's been there, done that kind of situation, and he's more intellectual, more cerebral kind of a bad guy than he is
yeah,
brawn.
yeah,
I think people have seen a lot of that brawn in a lot of our films only. So it was very important to have a very defining trait in Aatish. He defeats, and at least his intention is to defeat his enemies psychologically. He
yeah.
breaks them psychologically, which I found very interesting.
Right. Does that also make you conscious as an actor? You know, like you said, you get ripped apart at anything that you do. Does that reflect on the choices that you make when it comes to your profession?
No, it doesn't.
No.
I go purely with my gut, with my perception of life. I don't do it because if I try to appease a billion people out there, how many people whose ideology I'm gonna follow? I will follow my own ideology of what goes with me, right? Uh, that's the only thing I know. I can't really think about so many people out there, and that is the problem with social media. Uh, how many people are going to appease?
Yeah.
There are going to people who are going to troll you. There are people who are, pissed off with what you've done. You just do your own thing. It's fine.
Does that affect you at any point of time?
No, it doesn't.
Would it affect you earlier?
No, because I keep a distance from that. I only step in and use social media for a tool to. If you've seen my social media,
Yeah.
it's only either to promote films or to put out that one odd photograph a Friday and step back.
Yeah.
I'm not constantly like peeking into it and understanding, oh, please like me, please like me. See, let me see how many good comments I have. Let me see how many likes I've got, how much
Yeah.
have I hit right now. It's just, it's a never ending and it's a bizarre game to play with
Right.
yourself.
Right.
There's nothing real in that.
Right. One of the things that is also associated with you is that you've been very elusive when it comes to, the general, day-to-day things. You're not found at parties, although you do attend them. You're not papped. Uh,
Yeah, I'm one of the few actors who runs from the paps.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
find a restaurant or a place where the paps are not standing outside.
right. Also, does has it ever affected your work? I mean, has this kind of
No, I don't think it gets you work. I think your work gets you work.
because a lot of actors feel and see do this that this is what that gets them work
And best of luck to them for that. I mean, it's not like anyone who's doing that is wrong.
yeah,
It's not like what I'm doing is wrong or right, whatever. You might think either way, but it's what you feel fits your perception of life. For me, I constantly don't seek for that. My ideology about my work is that it's in the confines of a film if you're able to play something convincing and give that much of hard work to your character and be there for whatever is required to mount that film and give that film to take it to its end,
yeah,
and that's what's required. I don't seek validation from that. Some people seek validation from constantly and they feel insecure if they're not getting it.
yeah,
I don't feel that way.
right,
I have another thought process about it also. I feel the if you are constantly seen from morning to night, every day of the week and month and year, on every site on your phone, what's the appeal when your film comes out,
yeah,
right? But then I'm ready to say that I could be wrong. This is my perception to it.
right,
I just feel that sometimes it's just an overkill. We have jumped on this bandwagon without thinking, and you don't know where it's going.
right,
No one's given it a thought. A trend comes in, let's jump in.
Right.
I think there are multiple platforms people are on right now. It's not just the basic Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. There's a damn thing right now on your WhatsApp also.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's threads also.
Yeah. Multiple
Come
things.
on,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
never ending.
Is Imran Hashmi insecure of anything professionally?
Of course I am.
Are,
Yeah, of course I
and
am.
what are these insecurities?
I mean, insecurities in the sense, you know, every actor wants to be liked and acknowledged for their work.
Yeah.
There's insecurity of the fact that, okay, you put in your best and what if people don't like it?
Hmm.
Then all the hard work goes down in vain,
Right.
right? So you hope people acknowledge your work. You don't know how far your film goes in box office numbers, that's not in your hands. But at least give it your best shot so people, a fair number of people realize and see it and you give them the money's worth.
Sure.
Um, I'm also insecure of the fact that they feel it's sometimes even actor feels that okay, I don't want the audience to go through the experience of this is just a waste of time and waste of our money to
Right.
invest in this actor's film, to see my film or the performance. I feel I should give them the money's worth. So
Right.
there's that insecurity. Every actor also has the insecurity of, to a certain degree, anonymity,
Hmm.
right? That's a fear that we all have to deal with.
Right.
You know, what if staying relevant is very important also.
Coming back to Tiger 3, I'm sure your son must have watched the film.
Yes.
What was his reactions and
Oh, he
what
loved it. Again, he's very critical because he's into all these Marvel films and but he really enjoyed. He enjoyed the scale.
Hmm.
He enjoyed the film for what it is. He kind of liked my performance.
Kind of
So
like,
he's always critical of it.
okay.
And when you ask him, he's like, "How did you like my performance?" He said, "Dad, okay, nice." But this time he said, "Yeah, 2 thumbs up,
Right.
nice." That's as far as he'll go. He won't say great performance, Dad. He'll never do that. He's always watered down. But yeah, that's more than I was expecting. But yeah, he really liked it.
Right. Well, you've been in the industry for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah.
You know this industry has been very cruel or cunning, if I may say so, when it stereotypes an actor, and it happened with you also. Uh, but do you miss doing that kind of films? Do you want to go back to doing those Loverboy or the Chocolate?
I would love to do it. It's just that that idiom, that those kind of films won't work right now in this day and age. I think there has to be a very different spin to it.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind doing a genre with with romance, musical, action, whatever it has, but it has to be like an old wine in a new bottle. It has to be presented to an audience in a very fresh way because you have a young audience that's taken over right now. Of course, that the '90s kids will always be there. They will consume stuff, but if you want an audience to consume with ferocity, it has to be the 15 to 25 or 15 to 30 that buy tickets or whatever and watch a film. They are the sheer number, young India. So it has to go with their ideology, and so it has to be a different mold of a film and character.
Right. Is this also a time where you are taking these big leaps? I mean, your next film is with Pawan Kalyan.
Yes.
I think it's your first film
Yeah, in the South film industry,
South
yes.
film industry.
Yeah.
So, what was the whole thought process behind choosing that?
Oh, again, the role, the producer, the director, working with Mr. Pavan Kalyan. It's a big film. It's an ambitious film. It's a pan-India film. It's going to be in multiple languages.
Sure.
And it's a constituency, it's an audience that might have known me, but they've not really seen too many films of mine. Probably, some of them. So you want to also penetrate that audience, to showcase your work. And also, of course, it always starts and ends with the character, with the script. I found that very fascinating, the world that Sujit has created with that.
Right. Lastly, I'd like to ask you. I think it's Footpath released 20 years back.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly 20
Yeah, 20
years
years,
back.
20 years, yeah.
If you had to tell something to an Imran Hashmi of that age,
Yeah.
what would it be now? I mean, if you had to tell.
Don't change a thing. Do everything the way you did it back then. I have no regrets. I think everything in its place, every decision made at that point of time, in retrospect, sometimes bad films you feel, okay, that you regretted it.
That's right.
But at that time it was right. It just doesn't play out the way you thought, but that also is a learning.
Yeah.
I think failures also teach you.
Sure.
Bad experiences teach you. I have no regrets with that. I think I would want it to play out just the way it played out.
Great. Great. Thank you so much chatting. And
Thank you so much.
All the best again.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.